I'm Matt Blumberg. I'm one of the founders and the chairman and CEO of ReturnPath, and this is a plant that Jennifer, who's conducting the interviews, is very excited about having on the set. So hopefully we have enough of the plant as well as me.
What has been the most rewarding part of being a part of ReturnPath over the past 10 years?
So, I think for me the most rewarding part of the job is that we've built something here that's different. We've built something here that's really special and really unique. And, I do a lot of networking with other CEOs, and I'm periodically on other boards of directors. And I know that we have some things about the company here that you just don't find everywhere else. We have a board of directors and an investor group that are incredibly committed to the business, strategically deep in it, but operationally hands-off. And that's a rare thing to find in a board. Usually you find CEOs who complain about their board from time to time, and I never do that. We have a corporate culture that is really fun, that's very transparent, that I think people really enjoy being a part of. And I'll never forget one of the, I get handwritten notes from people all the time in the company, and I write them as well. And I got one once from a candidate, someone who came in to interview. And it's up on my bulletin board in my office, along with lots of the other ones I've received. And he said that he was really excited about coming to work here, and he couldn't put his finger on why while he was in the office interviewing, but when he left and he was sort of thinking about it afterwards, his exact words were, I've interviewed at a bunch of places, and this is the only place that feels like everyone is working together on something as opposed to just going to work. And I think there are another 30 examples I could give you about why this place is special, but it just is. It's just a different kind of place.
How would you describe our business?
Well, that's an interesting question, and I pitch the business all the time. I pitch it to clients, I pitch it to prospective employees, I pitch it to investors, I pitch it to analysts. And when I describe it to people who aren't really familiar with email or with internet marketing or internet technology, I describe it that what we do is we solve the needle in a haystack problem. That spam now is over 95% of global email traffic. And that means that non-spam is only 5% of it. And it's fundamentally needles sprinkled in a haystack. And that spam filters are really good at plowing away lots of hay. But we're the only company out there that's kind of the needle detector. So we're the best company in the world at finding the legitimate email in just a rat's nest of spam.
You're really dedicated to the culture and people at ReturnPath. Tell me a little bit about this and what importance this plays in your decision-making process.
Well, for me, that's my job. If I have one thought when I wake up every morning and get myself to work, it's are we making this the best place to work possible? Obviously, we want a business that performs well financially at the end of the day, but I truly believe, and I've said this to our investor group and our employees and everyone that's kind of a key stakeholder in the business, that in a business like ours, employees have to come first. And if we have the happiest and most productive and most engaged group of employees that we can possibly have, those people will produce the best products. Those people will produce the happiest clients. And if we've done all of those things, then at the end of the day, we will have done a good job financially and we'll have happy investors. But for me, that commitment starts at the top around having a great culture and making this a great place to work. And I must spend 40 or 50% of my time on internal people, culture-oriented things. And I think that's really paid off for us over the years.
And ReturnPath is now using something called a balanced scorecard. Can you tell me a little bit about this and how it was developed and its influence on the business?
I can, and I know we're trying to keep this to 6 or 7 minutes, so I'll try to be reasonably quick about it. I think companies, just like people or computers for that matter, need an operating system. They need something that that sort of sets the table that everything runs on. That's a common way of running the business. And we've always been pretty disciplined here in our 10-year history about doing goals and doing planning and making sure that things were sort of generally aligned. But a couple of years ago, after we transformed the business and focused it a lot more into the company that it is today, we decided to sort of change our operating system a little bit. So you can think of it as like moving from Windows to Mac, or moving to Linux is probably an even better way of describing it. We now run the company on an operating system of the balanced scorecard. So we have a common definition of the strategy, the vision that we're trying to achieve, and the key elements of that strategy, and then the key metrics associated with each of those elements. So that package of things, which we call the balanced scorecard, or internally we'll call our path, is what governs the company. Anytime anyone is getting a review, anytime anyone is doing their goals, anytime we report on the performance of the business, that's where we start. And we go back to the principles that we've all agreed on. The thing I think that may be a little bit unique about how we developed this framework internally at Return Path is it wasn't a top-down thing. It wasn't like I sat in a room and wrote this document up, or I sat in a room with the senior staff and wrote this document up. We actually split the entire company into 12 or 13 teams, and each team took it on themselves to draft an entire balanced scorecard framework for the company. And then what the executive committee did is the executive committee took all 12 or 13 of these things and put them together and kind of took best of breed from all of them. There was also a pretty high degree of convergence in what they were. So at the end, when we produced a single scorecard and strategy map for the company, it was very much of the voice of the company as opposed to the voice of the leaders. And I think that served us really well in terms of making sure that everyone knows where we're going and is totally bought into the mission along the way.